All right, pretty strong stuff there. You can get more of that on offtheball.com. Right, let's go to the shot clock. Kieran Donaghy is with us. The rules are pretty simple. We have 7 topics. We've got 5 minutes with a relevant guest, and this week it's from Corofin. We'll bring you that in a couple of minutes' time. But we get 2 minutes, the air horn sounds, and at the end of that, one of us wins, /me. Kieran, good morning to you. How you doing?
Morning, Joe. How are you, bud?
I'm very well. Thanks very much for being with us this morning. We're going to start with a point that Enda McGinley raised on the show yesterday. We were talking about the Dubs and how they lack superstars in some key positions. There's 2 real positions. One is under the high ball in the full-back line, and the other one is at that moment of need, that moment of crisis in the second half of a big game. Which of the forwards are you giving the ball to and saying, you're going to take it, you're going to take control? He mentioned the name of Diarmuid Connolly, and Diarmuid Connolly's ghost is hanging over this team at the minute.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much they lack superstars, but two guys that should be kind of in this team aren't in the team, and Rory O'Carroll and Diarmuid Connolly are both. For me, Rory O'Carroll is right now is kind of the guy that I'd be looking to get in. He's an outstanding fullback. He'd really kind of helped them as well back there. Like I was talking to somebody last day, their half-back line is going to be unbelievable come championship. It's still going to be James McCarthy, John Small, and Jack McCaffrey. And there probably isn't another half-back line like it out there. They've still got a load of all-stars in the full-back line as well. But I think Rory brings that kind of sheer size and power to that position. I battled with him for a good few years. He's a very good full-back. And for me, he's the most important guy I'd be looking to get back. He's back in from New Zealand. He played football. He's ready to go.
What about that point that McGinley was making, basically, that in a moment of crisis you need somebody who's just going to stand up and take possession of the ball, and he's the one that everybody's looking forward, everyone is looking for on the team, and at the moment their attack doesn't really have that focal point. You could say Kieran Kilkenny is that man, but they're very different footballers. Kilkenny's going to get the ball and keep possession, whereas when Connolly gets it, he's going to try and make something happen.
Yeah, don't underestimate Con O'Callaghan as well. He's been the guy the last year or two that's just getting the ball and going scoring goals, big goals when Dublin needs it to settle them down to start of a game or midway through a game. But look, let's call a spade a spade. Connolly is the man. Connolly is he is the best forward that this Dublin team have had over the years, and he is missed, and he's missed for the game as well. He's not just missed for Dublin; he's missed for spectators watching the game, spectators looking at it. You want to see Diarmuid Connolly on the starting lineup come for Dublin, and I'm sure his teammates going for 5 in a row. I know if I was on that Dublin squad, I'd be kind of like going, yeah, come on, Diarmuid, fix whatever, sort out whatever needs to be sorted out. We're going for history here. Everybody else is creeping up a small bit behind us. We're still the best team, but we could do it, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. What's next?
Topic 2 is free agency. It's huge in America. It's starting to creep in over here in different sports, but basically that players are kind of signing minimum contracts, looking after themselves, making as much money as they can, and kind of keeping this kind of, who can I jump on board with next? Who's going to win the next championship? Is loyalty dead, Joe?
Yes, it is, and so it should be. Go get paid. That's it. I can't understand why anybody who is a professional sports person, particularly footballers in England, don't let their contracts wind down. If you look at American football, we're just through the first week and a half of free agency there. Some of the mediocre players have now set the market for their positions. So you're getting the Trent Brown, the left tackle who's come from the Patriots, is now the highest paid tackle in football, even though he's actually not that good. And this is the weird thing, is that if you're really good, your team locks you down to a long-term contract, you get that safety, and you're a little bit conservative about it. So JJ Watt is getting paid about 5 million less than players who are nowhere near as good as him on an annualised basis, because he didn't hit free agency, he didn't hold out, he didn't say I'm going to wait and get my money. And I'm saying that's exactly what everybody should do. It's what all the footballers in England should be looking at, what goes on at Arsenal, and go, hang on a second, you're okay, you're grand, and now you're going to Juventus and getting paid like one of the best players in the world. The best players don't hit free agency. If Leo Messi hit the free market, he'd be getting paid 50 million a year. Why doesn't everybody just do it?
Yeah, look, certainly players' power is more coming into it, but Jesus, we're going to miss out on these kind of one guy teams, and a guy that stayed with a guy like Dirk Nowitzki over in the Dallas Mavericks, who just was signed by the Mavericks, stayed with them his whole career, will be an NBA legend because of it. I think if he hopped around, his legendary status wouldn't be up as where it is. He's just past Will Chamberlain in the all-time scoring list. You're going to miss out on the rivalries, Jerry. You're going to miss out on them Lakers Celtics days, the Bulls Knicks. you're gonna lose that, because we can't have a rivalry if guys are jumping teams all the time.
I see your rivalry, and I give you the Miami Heat, and how great that was when LeBron was there with his buddies.
Yeah, how great was it with who?
When LeBron went with Dwayne Wade to Miami.
Yeah, but who were they playing?
I don't know. Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
They were playing Dirk Nowitzki.
Dirk Nowitzki 1 year, somebody else another year. We're missing out on the real rivalries in sport. I think if we go that way, it's better for the players, but I don't know how good it is for the fans.
Our next slot is called Rugby Slump, but also known as I can't wait. Let's say F the doubters. It's too early in the morning for us to use the proper word. So we were thinking about the rugby team and the situation they find themselves in, where everybody thinks that they've gone to shit. Basically, you've got some experience of the last round of a league game before a big championship coming up, not going particularly well. Cork in 2014, ringing any bells?
Yeah. Cork, in 2014 they beat us by like 10 or 11 points in Aztecs Park, and we got a goal later on to make that look. You couldn't even call it respectable. It was a horror show from us that day. It was the last game of the league. We'd nothing really to play with, to go back with our clubs. It was tough. We were getting it in the neck from the fans, and rightly so, because our performance that day was well below par. All the doubters were out. The news articles, Joe Bradley was writing these articles. Kerry were finished. The production line is finished. Certain players were finished. Yeah, you gotta get in together, and you gotta take that on the chin, and you gotta improve, and you gotta work hard, and you gotta go back to the drawing board a bit, and you gotta keep confidence into your management team, your players, and realise that we're a good team here. Like, let them say what they want. We're a good team. I think that's where Ireland are at right now. They've no more games really till we get the few challenge games before the few tests before the World Cup. So they're a bit in limbo now. They got to go back to their clubs, but I think they got to really rally the troops and stick together and stay behind the key players, and they'll fix this, and Ireland will be right there in the World Cup, because they're a very good side. We didn't look like it last day against Wales. Wales jumped on us from the start. You called it, sure. I didn't think it was going to happen, but they jumped on us. They had a try within 72 seconds, and we were really kind of at 6s and 7s after that.
Can I ask you about the Kerry fans giving it to you in the neck? Did that help you to get better? That's my theory about the Kerry fans. By being so demanding, by demanding off you guys that they're the Real Madrid of the Irish football world, and that actually drives your team on to success.
Well, we wanted it for ourselves. We wanted to win in All Ireland. We weren't training for that league since November to put on a show like that and kind of go out with a win for that year. We'd lost Tomas O'Shea, we'd lost Paul Galvin, we'd lost Colin Cooper, we'd lost Owen Brosnan. We were playing poor in the league. We went in a training camp. We rejuvenated each other. We found belief in each other. We worked hard as a team, and we went on and won the All Ireland in 14. So, yeah, Ireland can go win this World Cup. They just got to stick together.
Yeah, that's not bad at all, is it?
No.
What's next?
Look, I know we've got Kieran Fitzgerald on, but I just thought, just to talk about Corofin. We give out about football, and we love to give out of it when things are going bad and when rules are in and when changes are being made. But Jesus, to watch Corofin the last day, their movement, they're so unselfish. Like, if you want a team, if you want a team to try and win something, you show them Corofin the last day about how unselfish you can be in front of goal on the big day in Croke Park, where club fellas can kind of say, geez, if I get a goal and a few points here, they'll be talking about me forevermore in the parish. Not a touch of it. They're a joy to watch, right, Joe?
Don't they prove that there's nothing wrong with Gaelic football? It's just a mindset that needs to change, and that if you have players who you work with all the time, who you can coach properly and give a sense of ambition to, that actually the rules of the game are totally fine. It's at the conversation around it that needs to change.
Absolutely, we need to all change the conversation to it, and coaches need to really look at what Corofin were doing. Like, their first goal was almost like a three-man weave, even though Paul Galvin and Aidan O'Mahony don't like the three-man weave drill. Maybe the drill mightn't be the greatest, but, that's what it was, written all over. The easy pass for the Corofin player was out to his right-hand side where they had a 2-on-1 in front of goal. Instead, he waited for the man coming off his shoulder, changed the direction of the play. The play went left, and at the end of it, the player was back post and knocked it into the net, Gary Sice. So, just a beautiful goal, beautiful movement, beautiful decision making, real team play.
Why do your old buddies hate the three-man weave so much? What's the three-man weave ever done to them?
I don't know. Maybe it was brought in by a certain coach to to training sometime. Maybe we went overboard on the 3-man weave, and
who was that?
And I can't remember because we've been doing it a while. But I think what we used to do as well, we used to go to length of the field with it, and it can get a bit monotonous going to length of the field. It's not really that type of drill. It's supposed to be more snappy than that. But I think the boys might have an issue with going to length of the field more so than the 3-man weave.
Shots fired at whatever coach in the background there. That's getting clipped up and going around the WhatsApp group straight away, Kieran, you know it. Our next bit is trolls. This is a horrific story from Australia where there's an amazing photograph of an AFL player that gets put up by the AFL on their Twitter stream and gets taken down because some dickheads can't actually control themselves on social media. And everything that we're talking about over the last number of weeks in terms of the 20 by 20 campaign, this is it set back miles and miles back, and the AFL have to take some responsibility for this. Leave the photograph up, let everybody see that there are clowns out there, and let's expose those clowns, and let's continue to celebrate greatness wherever we see it, whoever is delivering it.
Absolutely, yeah. Talia Harris, unbelievable photo, serious athleticism. I have 2 daughters, Jaron. If they're going to go on and play football or basketball at any code, and the relative body is going to put up a picture of them in action, as you said, if these dickheads are going to come in with this kind of stuff, it's reckless. And us as men and people in general have to start calling out these people. And like these people, we have inter-county players, the soccer players, they've been bullied online on a regular basis. Like we can have opinions on people, but these people that go online, these trolls that go on and put up this stuff, actually put it out there on their feed. And everybody else lets them away with it instead of calling them out and saying, hey man, you're way overboard there. I think we need to get a bit harder on the trolls and actually kind of almost embarrass them into the point of, like what are you doing here? It's such a terrible act. It's bullying. It's a form of bullying. I talk about it in my basketball camp every year. Don't stand for it. But I think we as adults stand for it on WhatsApp groups. We stand for it on Twitter, on social media. Because, will we bother even messing with this fella? I know they don't have many followers, these trolls, but still, what they're saying is an absolute disgrace, and they should be ashamed of themselves, and even their family members should be ashamed of them. And
the AFL for taking the photograph down should be ashamed as well.
Yeah, I think they probably panicked a bit. You know what I mean? It's they put it back up, they reinstated the photo, they apologised. It was a bad move by them, but it's these fools that are on sitting down on their computer that have never done a stitch in their life. They want to call out athletes every day for not performing to their best.
Yourself and Brian Cooper last week had a good idea about giving training to young players coming through, young sports people coming through, having to deal with this on the other side. So if you are a sports person who is a victim of this, actually learning to go, okay, yeah, I need to be able to somehow distance myself from this, because it's not easy. You read it, you kind of find yourself drawn to it.
I'm well used to it, and I spoke with Anna Geary. We were doing the Reloaded show on Air Sport together this year, and Anna was saying when she was doing the dancing, there was vile stuff coming in with her, and she was trying not to read it, but some of it was hard to deal with. And I was kind of like saying, Anna, these people have done nothing ever. They're just absolute fools. Like, can you differentiate from the real person that wants to talk to you about something? But that's my outlook on it. Like, I can spot the trolls a mile away and never interact with them. It's a waste of time. They've nothing going on. So yeah, certainly some training for all young sports stars coming through, whether that be from county boards or the FAI or rugby, the rugby union, whatever. But every sport coach should have a bit of training how to deal with trolls.
Our next topic is about something very sad that has led to a national outpouring across the GAA.
Yeah, Kieran O'Connor from Ahad and Cork. He's dealt with cancer before and dealt with it again, and now has it back for a third time. And it's a tough one for him to be dealing with again for the third time. And I think there's a GoFundMe page out there that raised a lot of money. The GAA again, we give out about the GAA. We talked about earlier on about Corofin, but this is even more what the GAA is about. It's about the community coming together. I met one of Kieran's friends out in Dubai at the Irish Open this year, and he was a small bit upset, and he came up to me kind of saying that that he'd got the news that Kieran had got it back for the third time, and I could tell he was visibly shaken by it. And this is a great Cork footballer. I battled him, never really came across him too much. He was kind of more busy running around hanging off of Gooch and Declan Sullivan, but just a warrior for Cork. Won his All-Ireland in 2010. was always there for the cause. And, you know, I think the community have really got behind him from Ireland, the GAA community, but especially his Graham Kenty wrote a terrific piece, if you haven't read it, in the Examiner. It really kind of shows the bond that Cork team had and that they do anything for their guy. But yeah, if you haven't contributed to the GoFundMe page for Kieran and his family yet, I'd be suggesting to do so, because it's a very worthy cause, and we're trying to best to get him every support to try and help him with his illness and help his family too.
I think the Graham Canty piece was kind of the catalyst for the whole country beginning to understand exactly what was going on, and it kind of does show the power of your former teammates, and also I guess the power of being open and talking about things as well. A lot of people might kind of try and hide away, but the right thing to do when you need help is to ask for help.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and in fairness to there's I see Armagh put up a tweet last night that they're taking all their funds from their halftime raffle and sending it down to the Kieran O'Connor Fund, and also Kerry did it at the league game against Mayo last week. And I think it's a real nice thing to do, and I'd say every county should be really at it on the last weekend of the league and try and generate as much as we can for the fund. And yeah, look, if you haven't donated yet, try and get on it if you can, because it's so important for him and his family. And
we'll tweet the link to the GoFundMe page. It's gofundme.com/friends-of-Kieran. If you, as I said, we'll tweet the link to that. So if you can get on our Twitter, we'll share that as well. We want to move on to the new dynasty that's so now official. The Corofin victory means that they are officially one of the best club football teams of all time, and I'm delighted to say Kieran Fitzgerald is with us this morning. Kieran, I think it was reported as you're the first person ever to be cheered off who was sent off in a match at Croker, so that must have been a pretty unusual and kind of sweet feeling nonetheless.
Yeah, thanks guys. I was just my mother was mortified, so she was. Yeah, look, it was an unusual situation, but like as a club player, you know, a day like last Sunday was really special, and you know, talking to Kieran there, and where he playing with Kerry for us to play against the likes of Dr. Croakton in All-Ireland Club final, and obviously for things to go so well for us on the day, like, it's an amazing feeling, and it's something as a couple we always dreamed about. So you know, like, we're absolutely delighted down here in Galway, and you know, we realised it's a big thing, you know, so we'll enjoy it.
Do enjoy it, Kieran, because you know, we were waxing lyrical a moment ago there on one of the points about the forwards and the goal, but you know, going in there at full back at 38 years of age and leading your defence, keeping that Crokes forward line quiet, because I've gone up against them and they've buried us and run rings around us at times. What was your main focus as a defensive unit going into the game?
Well, we had played them 2 years ago, Kieran, down in the Gaelic ground, and we got an absolute run around that day, and like, so we had prepared as well as we've ever done for these boys. And you know, Kieran O'Leary there, full forward, I've met him a few times, and you obviously played in his county football with him. What a super player, and they were just so slick in the way they played football, and obviously it's something that we tried to do ourselves in our forward unit. There was loads of similarities. So like, for our defence for the last few weeks, I suppose we got good preparation in marking the likes of Martin Pryor and Ian Burke, and Gary Sykes. So we were well prepped for it. But you know, obviously on an Ireland final day is the day to do it. So like, hugely relieved that we got over the line. But yeah, very weary of the guys you spoke about there, Tommy Brosnan and you know, Micheál Burns. They're all super players. So,
was it a cutting out the supply chain, or was it just getting tighter from that game 2 years ago?
It was cutting out the supply, really, Kieran. You know, as Tomas said before, hammer the hammer and put a high press on and try and go at it that way. We knew going up, neither team was going to go defensive on it, and Corofin were never going to play like that either. So it was really how we were going to defend it, was put as much pressure out the field as possible. And you know, the boys outfield, Dahi Burke and Ronan Speed out the middle, and even our half back line were immense at that, and you know, made our job inside a small bit easier, you know. But like, the boys are so dangerous inside, you always have to be on guard.
Is there significant turnover in the makeup of the team from the first Corofin team that won the All-Ireland in the 2014-2015 season, or is it largely the same group of players?
No, we've lost a few and gained a few. From the 15 team, we had Gary Delaney there and we had Greg Higgins. Both guys would have played for Galway at various stages. It's probably, off the top of my head, I'd say it's probably changed maybe 4 or 5 players, but we've been fortunate enough, we've been able to add some super young players in there. Obviously, Kieran Malloy and Dylan Wall, Dylan McHugh. Colin Brady came on as a sub there, Dylan Canny. These guys have been really pushing, and, we've been lucky enough that Conor Cunningham, another guy there, we've been lucky enough that these guys have come in and have been really fighting for places and not happy to be on the bench. So I'd say off the top of my head, maybe 4 or 5 from the 15 team, but that goes down to a good underage structure in the club at the minute.
Well, I was going to ask, what the hell happened? Because, I think you're doing this 21, 22 years as a senior, and you won your first Club All-Ireland back in 98, and you were the first team from the West to do it at that point. It seems like something happened in the club 25, 30 years ago that has just turned you into a powerhouse.
Well, I suppose in 98, Corofin were the first Connacht club, or first club team from Connacht to win an All-Ireland, and that gave for us as young guys great inspiration. A guy that's been mentioned numerous times, and his son is involved in management with us at the minute, David Morris. His father, Frank Morris, and a number of guys put in huge work at underage and developed great structures. There's a good schools competition in Corofin, the Raftery Cup, named after the Rafteries in Corofin, and that provides massive. That provides huge talent to the club going forward. Highly competitive competition, and there's just so much emphasis on coaching at underage, and thankfully it has worked out for us at adult grade down the road.
Kieran, we were talking last week here, myself and Ger, on Shot Clock, about everybody wants to retire everybody in the GA. You're 38. You were absolutely outstanding, powering forward the last day, marking Kieran O'Leary, powering up the pitch every time I saw you. So we're going to practice what we preach. I presume you're going to stay on and have a go at this 3 in a row All-Ireland clubs, because you're certainly in serious shape. So we hope you stay on and go for it.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about it much yet. But no, look.
You're not allowed to retire on Shot Clock. You're not allowed to retire. You've just got to go again. Look, that's what we're big on keeping guys going. We're the opposite of the general GA public.
Yeah, look, I love my football, and playing with these guys. It is hard, even to think about something like that. It is difficult, and does make me uncomfortable, because I've been playing football no more than yourself, and it's been part of my life for so long. A lot of thanks has to go down to the management team in Corofin, and they look after me so well. The club, all the way through the years, has looked after me so well. They give me time off. They let me pick and choose my sessions as much as possible, and it has stood to me that you're not being flogged every night of the week. That they give you a little bit of time off. But
enjoy the winter. Enjoy the winter, boy, and settle up again in January or February, all right?
I have one last question for you. A couple of Kieran's ex-inter-county teammates want to ban the 3-man weave. Tommy here reckons that the 3-man weave was the hallmark of your wonder goal in Croker the other day. Is this true? Is this something you guys practiced, or was that actually nothing to do with 3-man weave at all?
We were actually laughing and training during the week when the 3-man weave you took in the build-up to the club final. I don't know, was it Aidan O'Mahony or somebody who had spoke about the 3-man weave on Twitter, and we were laughing and training, going that the 3-man weave is out, But look, it's some of the scores last Sunday. I suppose the basis of it came from the 3-man weave, and 3-man weave, as Kieran said earlier on, if you're doing it to the length of the pitch, I can't imagine it is too much fun. But there's a lot of emphasis on spatial awareness and movement and dragging players left and right, and I suppose we have done a fair few 3-man weaves in our day now. So look, it worked for us.
It stood you in good stead. Good stuff.
They're a basketball team, Jared. They're a basketball team.
In the best possible way, I presume you mean.
Absolutely. Well done, Kieran.
Kieran, enjoy whatever happens next. Boy. Thanks a million. Speaking of inter-county, I know I'm trying to goad you into coming back for Kerry. Himself and Dahi Burke. Kerry could do worse than giving those two lads a ring. Or Dublin, sorry. Kevin Walsh could do worse than giving those two lads a call and saying, come on in for the summer. We can baby you through a few training sessions. You can sit this one out, have a little rub.
Absolutely. You look at all options when you're Galway and you're going to try and win in All-Ireland. Certainly whatever Corofin players they're going to bring in aren't going to let the team down, and they're going to only add confidence, and they're going to add skill and decision making to that already very strong Galway squad. So you wouldn't mind being in Kevin Walsh's position right now. 2 minutes
of predictions. We're going to start this with the amazing news that you tipped 12-1 winner last week in Rory McIlroy. That was a good shout, Kieran. Well done.
Yeah, we were giving out to me about the pain in my stomach was indigestion. I felt Rory was going to come good last week, and I was delighted. And but my other predictions on the prediction section weren't great. You had me outnumbered there, but I went bold with McIlroy. We put it in one of our slots, and it was good. Great to see him back winning and winning in the way that we were both talking about that he was struggling with. Was a Sunday with 8 or 9 people that were there ready to win. McIlroy stood it out in the back 9. Yeah, that's exactly what he needed to do. Does that mean there's a major do you feel that in the pit of your stomach at some point this year? Well, you talked about the main one, Jaron. That's Augusta, the one he threw away, and I feel like he's coming for that crown. He putted okay the last day. He didn't even putt great, and if this kid starts putting well, it's all over. So this week's predictions: Ireland against Gibraltar in Gibraltar. What do you think is going to happen here? How many goals? That's the question. Three, I think. 3. We never score more than 3, no matter what happens. We could kill you, we could batter you, we'll score 3. We could be not playing too well, might sneak a third sometimes. First game under Mick McCarthy, I'm going with 5. That would be happy. We would take that. We would take it. Okay, so Galway against Tyrone. This Tyrone team are the real deal. What's going to happen here? It's a tough one. It's on in Healy Park. Tyrone have to win to make a league final. It's going to be a real kind of dogged affair. I'm going to go with Tyrone in a really tight one. Yeah, unfortunately, I agree with you. I think Tyrone they're on a roll, and they're going to hopefully set up a meeting against this Kerry team, and that would be a good game. That would be a game to get the neutrals pretty interested, I think. Last one, couple of quick ones here. Meath against Fermanagh. Meath should go up, but if Fermanagh win by 10 and Donegal beat Kildare by 7, Meath won't go up on scoring difference. Meath are going up. Meath are going to win in 11 and thing. And just before we go, it's Down Syndrome Day, Jaron. Rock the socks. Odd socks. Rock the socks. Rock the socks for Down Syndrome Day. Anybody out there? Support a great charity. Come on, Kieran. We'll see you next week. Thanks a million. All right, Jerry. You're the man. That's this week's Shot Clock. You can get the whole thing. We're on youtube.com/offtheball. Offtheball.com is actually the best place to get all our stuff.